In Chapter 6, we'll discuss links. If you're creating a page for the web, chances are you'll want to link to other web pages and resources, whether on your own site or someone else's. Linking, after all, is what that web is all about. So in this chapter, we'll look at the markup that makes links work. The one element that makes linking possible is this A element, an anchor element. We'll take a look at how you create an external link, so that would be a link to another website with absolute URLs. We'll take a look at how to link within your own site using relative path names, and then we'll take a look at how to link to a spot within a page called fragments. We'll also look at how to open up another window when you link to another site. How can you have it open in another window versus stay in the current window? And then we'll finally talk about mail links. Here's an example of using the anchor element. You would surround whatever you want to link, whatever you want to be the hyperlink. So it could be text or it could be an image, whatever it is that you want linkable, where you click on it and it goes somewhere else. You surround that with the anchor tag. So you have a start and a closing tag. An anchor has to have this href attribute because you have to tell it where you want to go. And so that href is equal to some URL. That could be some external site. You could link to other HTML documents, images, movies, PDFs. Here's an example down here of providing an absolute URL to the href attribute. You would do this if you were going to link to some external site. You have to give it exactly the full path of where to go. The text that was going to be the hyperlink, the link text, is right here. It's surrounded by the anchor tags, but then we have this href attribute that's equal to that full URL path, absolute path. A relative URL is used when you want to link to another page within a site. You specify the URL based on where you're located. We'll look at some more examples here in a minute. That's really important that you know the difference between absolute and relative URLs. External links go to pages that are not on your server, and an absolute URL is required. So in this example, we have a site and we want to link to the Food Network. It's an external site. This is not our site, it's somebody else's site. We need to provide the absolute URL, so the full path of how to get to that website for this link to work properly. When no protocol is provided, the browser looks on the current server for the resource. So what we mean by no protocol is, in this example, the HTTP, that is a protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, that is used, and if we don't specify that, the type of protocol, then it's going to look in our current site for whatever we're trying to access. A relative path name describes how to get to the resource starting from the current document. This example is used throughout the rest of the chapter to talk about directory structure and so forth. We have a directory, Jen's Kitchen. This is our root directory for our site. We have two other directories in it, images and recipes. You can see images has a few different pictures in it. We have two HTML files also in this root directory, and then recipes. So we're just trying to have some organization. That's why we have directories and folders. We're going to put all of our recipes in this folder, recipes, and then we've got a couple different recipes. We also have another folder called pasta with a couple different recipes, or pasta, something to do with pasta there. This is what that directory structure would look like on a Mac. If you had Windows Explorer, it would be very similar on a Windows computer. When the linked document is in the same directory as the current document, you just provide the file name. In this example, in index.html, so we're in this file here, index.html, we want to link to about.html. So this is the text here that we want to be a hyperlink to about.html. We surround it with the anchor tags, and then since it is in the current directory that index.html is in, we can just type about.html. If the linked file is in a directory, include the directory name in the path. In this example, we want to link to salmon.html. We're in index.html. We have some text, garlic salmon. We surround it with the anchor tags, but this is what we're taking a look at here. Our href attribute, we have to specify it's in a different directory. So from where we're at, we have to go into the recipes directory and then down to salmon.html. Here's an example where we want to link into two directories. So we are in index.html. We want to go to recipes, that directory, pasta, that directory, to get down to this couscous.html. Here's the example right here. In index.html, we have couscous surrounded by the anchor tags, but we had to specify where it was. From where we're at, go into the recipes directory, go into the pasta directory, and then you'll find that HTML file. If I want to link to a higher directory, I use two dots to go higher. In this example, I have the text back to the home page. I'm in salmon.html, but I want to go back up into, I want to link into index.html. I want to link to this file. So to go up a level, I use the two dots. So right there, in my attribute, I have two dots. That means go up a level. Once I'm up a level, now I can specify the HTML file as index.html. The two dots tell the server to back up one level to the Jen's Kitchen directory to look for the document index.html. If I wanted to go up two directories, let's say I'm in this couscous.html, then I have to provide the //index.html. It tells the server to back up two levels. So I want to back up to recipes, and then I want to back up to Jen's Kitchen, and then link to index.html. Linking to a specific point on a web page is called linking to a document fragment. This is useful for providing links down to content from the top of a long document. This is pretty common with websites now. I see a lot of times there'll be hyperlinks at the top of the page and you click on one and it just advances down the page rather than going to another page. Alright, so how do we link to a fragment? For example, to create a link from the letter H in a list at the top of the page to an H heading farther down in the document, go down to the H heading. So this is down on the page where I had an H that was in a H2 heading. I need to provide an ID, and in this case they provided the ID equals start H. Then go back up to the top where I wanted the hyperlink to be to this heading. So at the top where I had all those letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I'll surround it with the anchor tag, and then the href attribute is going to equal #start H. This indicates that it's I'm linking to something within the page. The target attribute in a tag tells the browser the name of the window in which you want the linked document to open. Right here I have an additional attribute called target _blank, and then here was the text that I was surrounding with the anchor tag. If it's equal to blank, it always opens in a new browser window. If the target attribute does not exist, then when you link to something, whatever you're linking to shows up in your current window. So it really depends on what you're trying to achieve on whether you'd want to do that or not. And finally, you can use the mail-to protocol to make a linked email address open in a mail program. And so what happens here is I have the text email Wonder Woman. I surround that with these anchor tags, but the attribute uses this mail-to protocol, and what that does is it says this is the email address, but open it up in the default email program on your computer, and usually that would pop open. Mine would be Outlook, and it would have that email address already put in my email program to send a message to. Sometimes if that doesn't work, it might be a good idea to actually specify what the email address is so the user can see it rather than just have it be a hyperlink. go ahead and show what the actual email address is also.